The Society of the Nine Unknown Men. In the history of humanity, there have always existed secrets that, even after thousands of years, no one has been able to fully unravel, and the Society of the Nine Unknown Men is one of them. Established more than 2,000 years ago by Emperor Ashoka, this secret society is believed to have possessed and protected the most important ancient knowledge of mankind. According to ancient records and legends, after enduring a bloody war with a neighboring kingdom, Ashoka came to truly understand the pain and destruction caused by war. He decided to abandon violence and pursue a path of peace. To prevent valuable knowledge from falling into the hands of evil people, Ashoka chose the 9 most talented scholars of his time and gave them the important responsibility of preserving this knowledge in absolute secrecy. The Society of the Nine Unknown Men operated completely in the shadows and never revealed the identities of its members to the outside world. Each member of the society was assigned to guard one specific field of knowledge, including physics, medicine, alchemy, astronomy, communication, biology, and even mysterious fields such as gravity control or the origins of the universe. When a member died or was unable to continue the mission, a new person would be chosen as a replacement to ensure that the society always maintained exactly 9 members. The story of this secret society became even more intriguing and mysterious when, in 1923, the famous writer Talbot Mundy published a book called The Nine Unknown Men, introducing the existence of this organization to the Western world. Although many people believe this is merely a product of imagination, there are also quite a few who think that Mundy actually gained access to secret information about this society through hidden sources in the East. Even to this day, the secret of the 9 unknown men has never been fully revealed. No one knows for sure whether they still exist and operate somewhere in the world we live in. Yet it is this very ambiguity that creates the irresistible attraction of the story about the mysterious Society of the 9 Unknown Men. The Old Egyptian Chronicle. In the minds of most people, when it comes to ancient Egypt, this land is usually associated with the famous pharaohs and their magnificent pyramids. But there is another story, once mentioned by ancient scholars, that has been almost completely overlooked by mainstream history, and if true, it could fundamentally change the way we view the origins of Egyptian civilization. This story begins with a mysterious document known as the Old Egyptian Chronicle, or the Ancient Egyptian Annals. The original manuscript of this document no longer exists, but in the 9th century, a scholar named George Syncellus happened to discover a copy that recorded its most important details. He devoted many years to studying it and ultimately compiled what remained in a book called the Book of Sothis. This book is not an ordinary chronicle, because what it describes goes far beyond the boundaries of modern knowledge about Egyptian history. According to the Old Egyptian Chronicle, Egypt once had 30 consecutive dynasties, totaling 113 generations of kings, with a combined history spanning 36,525 years. This is an astonishing number that no modern scholar can confirm, and no other civilization is believed to have lasted for such a long period. Yet what is truly remarkable is not just this number, but the origins of the first rulers, as described in the document. In this record, the first dynasty is called the Orites, and the rulers of Egypt at that time were not humans but sun gods. Chief among them was the god Helios, who is said to have ruled Egypt for 30,000 years. What followed Helios's reign was an era of his descendants, beings of divine origin who ruled for nearly 4,000 more years. After that came the age of the demigods, 8 of whom ascended the throne and reigned together for 217 years. Then, power was handed down to a group called the Mesetes. These were the final descendants of the demigods, who held the throne for 443 years. Ultimately, power fell into the hands of the pharaohs that modern history often refers to. In this list, the final dynasty is named Tanit, which many scholars believe may be linked to the ancient city of Tanis in the Nile Delta, though to this day, no one can say for certain. The emergence of the Old Egyptian Chronicle has changed the way people think about Egyptian history, because it is not just a chronicle but also a depiction of the transition from mythology to reality. Within it, immortal gods and divine beings successively hand power down to real human kings, until at some point, history becomes more familiar to us through official archaeological records. This also calls to mind another famous document, the Sumerian King List, in which the first kings are also described as having lifespans of thousands of years before more reasonable, mortal kings began to appear. All of these records raise a profound question that, to this day, no one has been able to answer with certainty. Did ancient Egypt really experience an era when gods walked the earth? Or are the extraordinary numbers in the annals merely products of imagination? Did the Egyptians want to believe that their origins lay with immortal gods to affirm the sacred status of their land? Or were they truly preserving an ancient memory that modern humanity has since forgotten? The old Egyptian chronicle remains a mysterious fragment of history, a place where the boundary between reality and legend becomes blurred. That is why, no matter how much time passes, stories like this continue to fascinate those who are drawn to the mysteries of history. Jesus. For centuries, the story of Jesus has remained a subject both sacred and filled with countless mysteries. For billions of people around the world, the image of a savior with mythic qualities has become the very foundation of their faith. However, alongside these familiar legends, there have always existed controversial theories about the true origins of this remarkable figure. There was a time when the media was abuzz with reports about an archaeological discovery at Rosslyn Chapel, a site long associated with numerous legends surrounding the Knights Templar. According to widely circulated articles, a team of researchers had found there the true cross, believed to be the very cross upon which Jesus was crucified. Not stopping there, the scientists even claimed that they had obtained a blood sample remaining on the wood of the cross and had begun DNA analysis in hopes of finding answers to the lingering mysteries of Christian history. The results of this DNA analysis quickly became one of the most hotly debated topics among researchers. Instead of discovering the ordinary DNA structure found in modern humans, the scientists announced that they had identified an entirely different structure with 3 helical strands, instead of the 2 everyone is familiar with. This DNA belonged to a species dubbed Homo superioris, said to possess supernatural abilities far beyond those of ordinary humans, from the power to heal wounds rapidly to phenomena like telepathy, and even the ability to manipulate the basic laws of physics. It was from here that a bold hypothesis emerged. Some suggested that Jesus may not have been an ordinary human being, but rather a member of a superhuman species that once lived hidden among us on Earth. They argued that the miracles Jesus performed could have arisen from the natural abilities of this species. According to this theory, after being crucified, Jesus did not die as an ordinary person would, but instead used his powers to vanish from the world. However, it is important to emphasize that all of the above stories and conclusions remain completely unproven by any credible scientific evidence to this day. The information about 3-stranded DNA, the existence of Homo superioris, or the